Right, hi everyone, welcome to another video. I was keen just to take you through my kit that I have, really for two reasons. The first of all is to help beginners such as myself and new people getting into wild camping, how the types of things that you'll need when you're starting out, and to help you go on your first camping trip. And then secondly, really just to track kind of the development of my kit over time. I've been on a few trips now, keen to see kind of with your comments and any feedback you have, how I can kind of improve my kit and develop it over time. Okay, so as mentioned, this is everything I need to go on a one-day hiking trip. This is the rucksack I use. It's the Osprey Talon 44 litre. It's got the airscape panel at the back, which is adjustable, so it keeps it away from your back and allows breathability through the back section. It's got some side pockets. It's got the section at the top for storing stuff, and also this handy pocket down here. I'll put all the weights in or everything below the video so you can see how much everything weighs. I think it's about 12 kilos at the moment, which is quite heavy, but I'm trying to get that down a little bit. So I'm just going to do this to speed it up. Okay, so this is currently everything I use laid out. As I mentioned, the Talon 44 is my go-to rucksack. Osprey actually recommend that you pack the sleeping bag at the bottom and then have the heavier things closer towards the spine, and then kind of pack the smaller things around that and pack smaller things on the outside, which is generally what I tend, and I think most people tend to do. So that's the rucksack. So onto my sleeping mat now. As I've mentioned before, it's a Berghaus Peak self-inflating mat. It's about 650 grams. Again, I'll put all the weights below. And yeah, this has done me proud. It's pretty comfortable, a little bit on the heavy side, but it's perfect for what I need. And then onto the tent. So it's the Berghaus Peak 3.1. It weighs about 1.9 kilos. I tend to strap it to the bottom of my pack, and it just gives me more room inside. As mentioned, it's a 44 litre pack, so not the largest. So I find just strapping this on the bottom gives me a lot more space inside the pack to put the rest of my gear in. So Berghaus Peak 3.1. I keep the tent poles inside here, but the pegs are obviously much smaller, so I tend to put them in the pack in there. Okay, so next thing is my sleeping bag. So it's the Vango Sennen, I think it's a 200. It's a synthetic sleeping bag. You will have seen, if you've seen any of my other videos. I tend to keep it in this Osprey 20 litre dry sack. This weighs nothing, and it's bomb proof. It's you can kind of stretch this around, and it doesn't really. And it doesn't damage. It's excellent. I try and use this because I don't want my sleeping bag getting wet, but also it means that I can really kind of compress my sleeping bag down into a much smaller kind of space, because as you see there, it's pretty much, that alone is the size of my pack, more or less. Also means when you've got it locked up like that, you can kind of compress the shape as well into a space to fit in your bag, which really helps. But I tend to put that long ways in the bottom of my pack. So this is that one. Then on to my, this is my pillow I'm using at the moment. It's too chunky. It needs, it's just a Euro hike pillow, so it actually compresses. A little bit too large, but then it kind of folds out, and it's reasonably comfortable. But I've seen one of the inflatable ones, which I'd quite like, because it would take up less space in my pack. So that's the pillow. So this is my waterproof jacket. You would have seen my video when I went up Man Tour. This really let me down. It needs replacing. So it's just a waterproof, this is a cheap job. I've had it for a long time, actually. Mountain Light. Just standard, kind of rolls up in the sack that it comes in. It's just one of those ones. It's just, yeah, nice and lightweight. But again, it didn't really let the water in, if I'm honest. So a new one of those needed. Okay, so this is the good stuff. This is the really cool stuff. So I kind of bought this stuff recently. So I keep it in a, first of all, I've got a 6 litre dry sack on order. But because it's electronic stuff, I keep it in a Ziploc bag, which you'll see there, just so it doesn't get wet, just as another layer of protection, really. And I've got the 4-class head torch. It's the 400 lumen one, so it goes to 200 lumens and it has stages. So I think it does 40, 80 and then 200 depending on the buttons, but this is a really good, I love this, I really love it. You can, it has, it kind of adjusts there, so when it's on your head you can actually angle it. You press the buttons here, so it's nice and easy to use, obviously strap around the head. And then it goes up to 400 for a burst of 10 seconds, which I think it cost me about £29 from Decathlon. And again, I'll put the links below to the equipment. But it's one of the best things I own, if I'm honest. So you can have 10 seconds of 400, which is nice and bright, but to be honest, I think I use it on the 100 lumens mode because it's more than bright enough. So really, really good bit of kit that one. Then this is another new bit of kit that I've got. So it's a Rav Power, I think it's the 10,000 milliamp one. The white version, I think it weighs about 250 grams, but it takes a long time to charge up initially. I think to charge it on at home, it took me like 6 or 7 hours before all these bars lit up, which meant it's fully charged. But it charges my iPhone up in probably about an hour and a half. And it's still got heaps of power left on it, and it's as quick as when I plug it into a wall socket. So it's a really good mobile thing to take with me and to charge up my equipment. So this is a foil blanket. This was a very cheap job. I think it's £5, and it just it sits under my sleeping mat, just to provide an extra kind of layer of insulation, really, from the cold from the ground. Tips from people online. I've seen lots of people with these, so really useful. All important first aid kit, plasters, paracetamol, things like that in there, really helpful. Essential, really. This is another wicked bit of kit. So it's just an Osprey wash bag. I think it weighs nothing. I think it's like 40 grams. But it's just really good because it holds all of my, just holds everything together. So in here I've got some spare matches if I need some. Got some hand sanitizer. What else have I got? I've got toothbrush, toothpaste, and somewhere in here there's a mirror in here somewhere as well, which I've not actually used, but so as you can see, it's got obviously toilet roll. Okay, here it is. Yeah, here's the mirror. So yeah, it's just got everything you need. It's super lightweight, and you can just put all your kind of bits and bats in here, and it folds up into a nice neat pocket on the outside as well. Earplugs, really good one to have when it's windy. So just things like that, just kind of bits and bobs that just nice to keep them together. Okay, onto the cooking stove. So this is my Vango cooking stove. It is so in here, really good bit of kit. I'll keep my spork, which is just a 4-class kind of plastic one, folds up nicely, and then the stove is kind of in here. I don't really into too much detail, but you will have seen it before, and it just folds up nicely and goes into this little thing here. If you just open this up, it's got all of my cooking kit in it. So you've got blacky bands around to keep it all together, but then you've got the lid. Open it up. So useful tip as well is just a bit of camping towel, just a camping towel in there, just to kind of stop it kind of rattling around, stop it scratching, stop it going rusty. So I've got my Tokes 550ml titanium pot with handles, really useful. And then in this one, I've got a separate cup here with handles as well. Got a sponge, really useful just for wiping out my pots and keeping things clean after I've had something to eat. A lighter in the bottom there, and my lid and that kind of stuff in there. So all kind of self-contained, fits together, saving space. Next is water. It's one of the heaviest things you carry. I've got a 150ml water bottle, and also I think a Euro Hike, this one, 750ml. I also take a third water bottle and just kind of hold it. But looking into getting like maybe the MSR kind of squeezable water purifier, so I can start using water out when I'm out. And again, links below if you've got any recommendations or any comments below around good water purifiers. That would be great. Okay, another thing I use, I probably don't need this at the moment because we're kind of getting into summer, but it's just a blanket, just really quite nice when it's like a bit chilly at night. It's just the Decathlon Quechua blanket. So that's kind of really lightweight, but just folds up quite neatly, and just a really good thing to have when you're a bit cold. A mat, Peak District mat. These are wicked mats. They're really durable as well. I've seen a lot of guys use these, and they get a bit wet, but if you look after them, they're not going to fall apart in minutes. So they're good, and also taking photos of them is quite good as well if you want to not necessarily take this with you. So take a picture on your phone and then you can take it with you. I've got my camping, as mentioned, my camping, what they call stakes, knives, no, that's what they're called. Camping hooks, pegs, camping pegs. So I've got a mixture actually. So these are the originals that it came with. They're quite heavy. A few of them bent, so I bought some more lighter weight ones, which are a lot lighter and basically the same as strong. They're about 9 grams each, these lighter ones. Got 6 of them, I think. So yeah, or 5 I think. So it's just my cooking shield, so windshield, standard. Not much to say about that. Does the job. Got a sleeping mat as well, tuck that in the side of my pack. Sorry, a sitting mat, so just kind of put that out, it's from Multi-Mat. Just something nice to sit on, you know. Really useful when the ground's wet, and just that goes on the outside of my pack so it can kind of dry off. I've then got, lastly, just food. So I've got, this is more than enough for a day, so I've got a couple of snacks. I've got a couple of Summit to Eat meals. I've got chicken tikka with rice on that one, and then a breakfast. I think it's morning oats with raspberry. These are super light as well, 100 grams and 125 grams maybe. And then just some coffees and various things. So again, it's one of the heavier things. And then separately, just in here, I've got my bed, my things that I wear to sleep in. So I've got a merino wool top, and just some bottoms as well, just to kind of wear when I go to sleep. So, and then one more thing to mention is just in the side pockets here I keep just a bit of sun cream, and I've got another torch here if I need it, and then that kind of fits in there. It's quite handy having those things. And then in this one actually nothing, because I put my car keys in there to just keep them nice and safe. That's it. Okay, so that's it. So thanks guys. So that's everything I use for a one-day hiking trip, or one-day camping out night, out in the evening. If you've got any questions, put it on the links below. I really appreciate any feedback you have or any tips and advice. Thanks so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Things I could change actually, just quickly. I'd love to get a new tent. I've seen a couple of really good ones that I'd like, and some that are a bit lighter as well, just to get my weight down a bit. I'd like a new sleeping bag again for lightness, and I'm quite a tall guy, so just to get a larger one. I'd also like a new sleeping mat as well, so something a bit lighter again, or something a bit more comfortable and a bit larger. Things coming up, I've got a trip to the Brecon Beacon, so stay tuned for that one. And then I'm going to Ben Nevis in July next month with one of my good friends from school, so there'll be a video on that one as well. So yeah, thanks very much guys, take care, look after yourselves, cheers.